This is the 2026 Toyota BZ, and on paper, it does seem like as though Toyota has been listening. It gained some meaningful tweaks over the previous model year, but the important question is this now worth your money, or is this still the safe but slightly dull option in a world crowded with EVs? Let's start with the outside. Toyota has gone all in with what they call the hammerhead front end. So it gains these Prius-inspired LED daytime running lights, and the headlights are now a little bit lower down so that they can project their light a little bit further down the road. Around back, it doesn't see many significant changes. You still get the split rear spoiler design, taillights look pretty much the same as before, the 4X is gone from the BZ badge, and you get nice 20-inch wheels on this limited trim. On the inside, the BZ has had a small makeover with this new center console. It now features dual wireless phone charging pads, big round knobs for the climate temperature, and a larger 14-inch touchscreen. But the first thing that most people will notice is the placement of the 7-inch driver display. It sits right at the bottom of the windshield, almost like a faux head-up display. It looks a bit odd at first, but once you adjust the seat and the steering wheel, it's actually really easy to read without taking your eyes off the road. Granted, if you're the type that likes to hold on to the steering wheel at the 12th position, you won't be able to see it. Either way, you really shouldn't be holding onto the steering wheel like that anyway. The seats are very comfortable and they're lined in a soft tex material, which is synthetic leather, but it does feel good to the touch. They're also heated, ventilated, and have plenty of power adjustments. As for interior space, up here in the front seat, for my 6'4" height, I really can't complain because I have plenty of legroom and just enough headroom. In this car, you do sit pretty high up, and even though this seat is at its lowest position, I still have great visibility out the front, out the side, and even out the back. Sitting behind my tall driving position, it's not too bad either. My knees gently brush up against the back of the front seats, but they don't feel squished at all, and I have an okay amount of headroom in those back seats. In the trunk, there's 784 liters of cargo space behind the seats, with a tiny bit more underneath the floor for smaller items. Drop down the rear seats and the cargo capacity increases to 1,611 liters. Unlike other EVs, the Toyota BZ does not have a frunk, and it does use a tire repair kit. Okay, let's get on to the driving bits, because this is where the Toyota BZ has really changed over the previous model year. You can still get it as a front-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive. The front-wheel drive has actually lost power compared to the previous model year. It's now down to 168 horsepower. But the all-wheel drive has gained power, and quite a lot of power at that. It's up to now 338 horsepower, which is a big bump over the previous model year's 214 horsepower. Toyota claims 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about 5 seconds, which means this family crossover is secretly as quick as a hot hatch from not that long ago. Put your foot down and there's instant EV shove. But what's surprising is how Toyota's tuned the power delivery. It doesn't immediately slap your head into the headrest. It surges, then builds, feeling very refined. The dual motor all-wheel drive also brings traction with X mode and grip control to help in snow, dirt, and mild off-road situations. Steering feel? Well, it is a Toyota and without a GR badge on the back. So it's light and numb feeling, but decently precise. Body roll is kept in check through the turns, and because of the low center of gravity of the battery pack, this car does feel planted when you flick it through corners. Despite the big wheels, ride comfort is more soft roader than EV performance crossover. The suspension soaks up most urban abuse, and only the very sharpest potholes will make it into the cabin. At highway speeds, wind and road noise are well contained, and without any engine buzzing away, you really notice how much work Toyota has done to keep the interior quiet. In addition to the more powerful electric motors, at least on this all-wheel drive version, the 2026 Toyota BZ also gets more range. The old one could barely do 350 kilometers under ideal conditions, whereas this new one can have up to, well, basically the same as every other EV. The front-wheel drive has the least amount of range at just 380 kilometers, but move up to the XLE all-wheel drive and you'll be getting up to 468 kilometers. This limited trim with its big 20-inch wheels can only manage up to 436 kilometers of range. Now, of course, those numbers are under ideal conditions. In the winter, like how it is right now, those numbers will drop in the cooler temperatures and also if you have the heater set to flamethrower mode. But Toyota did add preconditioning and faster charging capability. The front-wheel drive gets a 57.7 kilowatt-hour battery pack, while the all-wheel drive version gets a 77 kilowatt-hour battery pack. Both are capable of charging up to 150 kilowatts, with the smaller battery taking just under 30 minutes from 10% to 80%, and the bigger battery taking about 35 minutes for the same state of charge. The onboard charger has also been upgraded to 11 kilowatts from the pedestrian 6.6 kilowatts of the previous model year. So, level 2 charging takes roughly 6 to 8 hours depending on which battery you go for. How much will the updated 2026 Toyota BZ cost you? Well, it's actually a little bit less expensive than the previous model year, which is quite rare these days. It now starts just shy of $46,000 Canadian, with this top spec limited trim costing just under $62,000 Canadian. That puts it right in the firing line of things like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, and some trims of the Tesla Model Y, all of which have their own quirks and advantages. It's also eligible for federal EV incentives, which can knock a decent chunk off the sticker price if you qualify. As for features, it has the heated and ventilated front seats, which I mentioned earlier, along with a heated steering wheel and radiant heaters for your legs. These are actually pretty nice to use. There's also heated rear seats, surround view cameras, a digital rear view mirror, dual zone automatic climate control, dual wireless phone chargers, and a 64-color ambient lighting system. On the safety side, you get the latest Toyota Safety Sense suite, which includes full-speed dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert with steering assist, lane tracing assist, road sign assist, automatic high beams, and proactive driving assist. On top of that, there's a blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert, safe exit alert to stop you from opening a door into a cyclist, plus front cross traffic alert and advanced park on this limited trim. So on the surface, the 2026 Toyota BZ is exactly what you would expect. A sensible, efficient, well-equipped Toyota vehicle. But dig a little bit deeper, and there's a bit more to it. It's now much faster than before, it can drive a lot further than before, it's quieter, practical, and loaded with tech that makes everyday life easier. Additionally, the addition of faster charging and new battery preconditioning makes it far more usable in colder climates like Canada. It may not be the loudest EV on sale, but in typical Toyota fashion, it is the most sensible one, especially for us here in Canada. In the meantime, if you would like to know more about this 2026 Toyota BZ, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car, truck, or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.